Yes, hello, welcome, folks. Welcome to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles, and welcome to my latest action figure review. And as you can see on the screen right now, today's installment is going to be all about the G.I. Joe Classified Series San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, Philip Chuckles Provost. Now, the review is going to be thorough, folks, so stick around. We're going to cover it all. We're going to talk about the visual experience of the character and get into his aesthetic. We're going to talk about the movement and posability and the playability of the figure by talking about the articulation. And we're going to get down to value, added value. What's the accessory selection like? How does it help us with our man-child playtime? And how does it equate to extra cost? And with all that said and done, it is my hope that if you're thinking about picking up a Chuckles of your own, or even if you just want to know a little bit more about the figure, then this video will have covered it all for you. But before we get into all that, travel back in time with me now as I go back to when I first received the packet in the post and share with you the live recording of the unboxing and my first instinctual reaction to the stuff in the box. Let's do it. Okay then, folks, well, here is the Chuckles packaging then. This is deluxe convention exclusive packaging, and by that it means it's got a fancy flap front and this die-cut embossed embellishments on the packaging there. Whether that contributes to the increased convention exclusive price tag, I'll leave you to decide, but I'm unimpressed. It's a smaller box than I was expecting as well, but that's only because the convention exclusives up till now have been rather large, like Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender. But what is nice about it is there's a little bit of a story, a bit of a narrative being told through the packaging. So you can see here the aesthetic is this kind of 50s science fiction video calling telemachine type thing with the speaker and the dials, and this is where all the die-cut embossed embellishments are. And then we've got Chuckles here on the video call with the Crimson triple pack leadership team of the twins and the Baroness, and he's boasting to them that he's stolen their secret Crimson bat designs. It's nice, it's good artwork, it's good quality painted artwork, it's interesting. The flap, I don't really understand the value of it being in a flap when it's not a windowed package, but we'll get to that in a minute. So that's fine, yeah, it's lovely, it's eye-catching, it's definitely got some shelf presence if you're an inbox collector. Then on the back, it continues this kind of retro 50s TV aesthetic thing with the tubes and this little calling device or whatever. Some sections of this are embossed as well over the cables and the dials. That's the import sticker. Shout out to my folks over at InDemandToys who have pulled this over from Hong Kong and got it out to us impatient UK customers ASAP. Legal bollocks and malarkey across the bottom. Then on this side we got more cables and wires, more embossed card bits sticking out to give it more flavour. He's number 75 in the line, and more embossed sections on these dials here. No data card. Then as we open up the flap, we're presented with two images here. I'll start with this one to begin with. So this is the little storyline unfolding that the packaging is trying to communicate. This is Chuckles breaking into the safe and then fighting his way through a load of bats and escaping with the secret information, with the secret designs that he's captured. And then this is his exfiltration. They've come to pick him up on the beach with a helicopter with a dangly ladder. That's the video call that's taking place on the front, although that's obviously like a briefcase laptop rather than the retro 50s style case, but that's fine, that is what it is. So yeah, that's lovely, it's great artwork. I'm just not sure what the value of this flippy front is without a piece of windowed packaging. Like, you know, you flip the front open to reveal a piece of artwork that could have been printed on the front anyway. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. So right, there we go. Let's get into it, shall we? So I'll pop the tape across the bottom here. Let's just open that up there like that. And as is standard nowadays, we've got the kind of weapons locker. Well, that's got an extensive Enterprise Crimson Strike Team box. Huh. And then we've got Chuckles himself in the cardboard frame. Let's open this up here. And oh, that's fun. That's fun. Look at that. The little baggie holding the accessories is decorated like the flowers on his shirt. I appreciate that. And of course, the paperwork. So let's get into this baggie then. Tear the top off like a cup of soup. Tip all the goodies out. Check that's fully empty. Yes, it is. Okay, so we've got the swappable hands with the knuckle dusters, the head swap there. There's a dagger. We've got, what's this? Oh, that's the little Soundwave Walkman device. That's got a peg on it, so that probably goes on his belt. Got his pistol, his binoculars. We've got 2 sets of handcuffs, one that's been broken, one that's together. The little manila file. The briefcase there, we'll have a closer look at this, the briefcase. Got the lei there, the flower necklace, and then in this little package, let's get that open there. We have, what's that? There you go, it's the headphones and the sunglasses. Oh, plastic wraps, let me get those quickly. Isn't it funny how they keep chopping and changing between the like papery string and those little plastic wraps? Okay, so take him out there, and then we've got the artwork on the back again, mirroring the floral design of his shirt. And there we go, there's Chuckles, all out of packet, ready to be played with. So I'm going to go away now and get some good solid man-child playtime and get good and hands-on with the figure. And future Chris will be back to share some review thoughts with you in 3, 2, 1... All right then, folks, let's get into reviewing Chuckles then. Let's start by looking at the visual experience. Let's talk about the figure's aesthetic, and I'm going to begin with a full head-to-toe eyeball of the figure on camera now. Because for me, I don't know if it's the same for you, but the first thing that strikes me about Chuckles is that he's extremely reminiscent of the original 1987 Chuckles figure, you know, from the OG vintage line. The shirt and the pattern on the shirt, very evocative of that original look. He's got the big, thick brown belt with the tucked-in shirt, the green combats, that's all, you know, inspired by, influenced by that original look. He, in terms of the head and the hair, it's just a big callback to the original Hector Garrido artwork on the card back, although perhaps a little less 80s mullety, but it's certainly reminiscent, hugely reminiscent and similar to the look and feel of the character there. So you can see where the inspiration has been drawn from by Lenny and his team, and they're clearly seeking to tap into a nostalgic vibe, you know, the nostalgic feels of fans who had Chuckles back in the day. Bringing Chuckles a bit nearer to the camera, we can take a closer look at the aesthetic details that really add to that visual experience, give it texture, give it depth and personality, and it's up to the usual G.I. Joe Classified Series standard. There's no two ways about it. Let's start with the head sculpt, for example. Very pleased to report that the head sculpt definitely doesn't look as flat and wide and goofy as we all thought it might be in hand after seeing the promo photos a little bit way back, or at least with this head sculpt. I'll talk about the other one a bit later on. But the facial features are well sculpted. They're finely detailed. There's good paint applications on the eyes and on the eyebrows. That's all lovely to see. Great sculpt in the hair too. He's got a kind of serious expression going on, but I'd argue it's not vanilla. It's kind of serious and perhaps even a little touch angry. I'm interpreting that facial expression to be a little bit angry. Is that me? Let me know in the comments down below how you interpret that facial expression. But it's not totally bland vanilla. There's definitely something going on there, and I love it when they sculpt the faces with a little flicker of something in there that we can interpret and add to our playtime, add to our narrative stories in our heads, which is really sweet. The patterned Aloha shirt is, of course, a big part of the visual identity of the Chuckles character, and this one is great. The paint application's really well applied. The floral pattern that's in there is lovely. The colours are vivid in the pink flowers and in the green leaves. Obviously, they're better than the vintage floral design, but it's really nice. The choice of blue as well, it really pops, stands out on the shelf. It's another bit of variety to the palette, the colour scheme that's sitting in the G.I. Joe end of my shelf, which is really nice to see. So very pleased with all that. And then just while I'm here, one little fine detail element that I'm really appreciative of is this little bit of vest that's poking out across the top of the V-neck collar on the Hawaiian shirt there has got a textured ribbed pattern in it, just like, the vest you buy at the supermarket. So a lot of detail just for that little tiny triangle there, which I'm very appreciative of. The holster's got sculpted detail in it as well, this little cross holster. The leather straps look leathery and got these kind of beaten up leather designs. The brown's a nice choice of brown. Again, a good leathery look brown. Could it do with a wash or a bit more paint applications? Of course it could. I say this every time I review a G.I. Joe Classified Series figure, but for what we've got, it's up to a high standard. The sculpting of the musculature is up to the usual standard. I think that might be reuse of Recondo's arms, perhaps. I've not done a direct comparison, but I suspect that's the case. But let me know in the comments down below if you know for sure. But also, over and above the musculature, we've got this lovely bit of jewellery, his wristwatch on there. Removable. It comes off, which I know Lenny is very pleased with his removable watch designs. for whatever reason. But it's suitably garish and ostentatious, big flash of gold bling on Chuckles' wrist there, which adds to that personality, to that character in the visual identity a great deal. Also got strong 80s vibes with the digital display there, which I thought said 1 minute past midnight, but then I realised upon closer inspection that it's missing a digit. So has he got like a 1 minute timer he's got a timer about to count down, 1 second left till something? I don't know, but I like it. I love it. It's just that little cheeky splash of colour to add to the storytelling. Moving further down the body, got a nice belt here with the Joe Pro communicator feature in there. Again, could do with some more paint applications on the belt. I always say this about accessories and backpacks and whatnot because I'm greedy and I want it all, but it's there nonetheless. And the nice light brown to echo back to be reminiscent of that original design, as I said earlier. I've got the textured pants here. These are standard, so nice folds, creases, fabric texture. You can see there around the pockets and stuff, and then bunching up down here by the boots, and then the boots have got the laces and the leather texture design in there. These are reuse legs. They're pinned, which was a bit of a disappointment. So we've got pinless arms, but pinned knees. Well, I say a bit of a disappointment. I'm not that massively bothered, really. I can see past a pinned joint, but that might bother some. Yeah, so the visual experience for me, I'm enjoying it a great deal. I think the aesthetic qualities of the figure are top-notch, and definitely a thumbs up on that front. The attention to detail is just mind-blowing, and it's up to the usual standard with G.I. Joe Classified series. So yeah, I'm definitely recommending it from a kind of shelf presence aesthetic point of view for sure. No complaints here on that front. Right, okay, well, let's with that said, let's now move into the articulation, shall we? All right, ladies and gents, well, quick whistle-stop tour of the articulation, because this is the standard articulation that we've seen on G.I. Joe Classified series many, many times. So if you've had one in hand before, you'll know what this is all about, but just in case you're new around these parts or new to the line, I'll just give you the key headlines. So starting above the shoulders, then with the head, it's a ball at the top of the head and then a ball at the bottom. So we've got decent down, decent up, got all the full swivel and tilt and wibbly wobbly shuffly stuff, and you can do the forward and back with the neck like that. So that's all present. Then moving further down into the shoulders, you can see there's a butterfly joint there, giving you a bit of shuffle back and forth, a full 360 at the shoulder. Got the hinge in the armpits there, giving us the T shape. Swivel at the top of the bicep and tricep there. There's a cut you can see. I've not been the biggest fan of that, actually. Although I like having it, I've found that aesthetically it kind of breaks the shirt in a weird way and looks a bit funny, but there you go. Pinless double elbow, getting us up to there. Standard pegged in hands with the full 360 in the wrist, and then the left arm's got a hinge forward and back, but on the right arm, the hand has got an up and down hinge. But look at mine, folks. It's still got like this little bit of plastic on it from off the production line. I just need to peel it off, but I left it on for the purposes of the review. I will peel it off, and that'll open up my range of motion with that hinge, but I don't know, kind of made me chuckle, a bit different, and perhaps another indicator of a little kind of QC thing that slipped through the crack, you know? Moving down into the torso, we've got the ab crunch there, which gives good forward and good back, although as you can see aesthetically, the back's not great with regards to breaking up the shirt buttons and creating that big gap there. Swivel and a little bit of wobbly, tilty stuff going on in the waist. Then we've got the standard G.I. Joe Classified series drop-down joint in the groin there, giving a decent range of motion forward. Got the ballerina splits there, although his knife gets in the way on this hip. Thigh cut at the top of the leg there, giving a nice bit of swivel. The double knee gets us up to there. Bit of swivel, boot cut at the top of the boot there. And then the hinge and rocker in the feet. Although, one observation on this joint here, on the hinge and rocker, I've noticed the forward doesn't quite go as forward, as flexibly as other G.I. Joe Classified series have done before, which in some of the poses I've been trying to do with Chuckles, it's been a wee bit tricky. So, thumbs up on articulation, it's good. The range of motion is up to the usual standard that we have come to expect from G.I. Joe Classified series. And after a run of G.I. Joe figures with either too tight or too loose joints, very pleased to have extremely minimal QC issues. And the one QC issue I have got is easily remedied. So yeah, thumbs up. Definitely a fan of the range of articulation that G.I. Joe offer. And this guy is no different. Accessory time now then, folks. I'm going to start with the weapon selection. Here is his pistol. We've seen this before. It's reuse. There are other figures. You've got these, the Colts. It's a single piece of molded plastic. It's a nice looking pistol. I like it. He's got a holster across his chest that he can slip it into. All good on that front. Then he has a dagger. Again, I'm pretty sure this is reuse. Very pleased to see the paint application on the blade, though I like it when they put the metallic paint on the blade. Well sculpted, got some texture and detail in there, and he's got a knife sheath on his thigh there that he can slide it into to store it on the figure, so that's all good too. Just, slip it in there. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your aunt. Then we have a little bit of practical equipment. Chuckles comes with a set of binoculars. These are fun. I don't think we've seen binoculars yet on G.I. Joe Classified Series figure, or at least not one I own, which is nice. Well sculpted. They're identified as binoculars. I like accessories that could be used across the line, not just with the figure that they come with. However, there is some storage for the binoculars on the figure as well. So on the back here, there's like a little clip. Can you see that there? Which fits to a clasp on the back of Chuckles' belt. See the little clamp there, and then you just pop it in like so. And there we are. There's his binoculars on his belt. Then we got the briefcase. Nice touch. Lovely colour brown there. Looks like the type of briefcase you see folks carrying around at the train station and stuff. A few knocks and scrapes here. This briefcase has been thrown out of a fair number of hotel windows with secret information hidden in it, I'm sure. So that's nice. Gives it a bit of life, bit of character. Helps with the narrative storytelling, which is obviously a direct callback to the box, the story that's being told on the box. I'd have liked maybe some paint applications on the on the locks here on the front, but that's the way that goes. Opens up as well to reveal some textured, detailed insides that look just like a briefcase. So yeah, very pleased with that. Nice little accessory that's got a range of uses for your little displays that you make, or for some photographs, dioramas, etc., etc. Speaking of the story that's being told on the box, here's the manila file with the crimson bat designs inside it. You can see the little Polaroid paper clipped onto the front there. Lovely paint applications on that. You can see the bat very clearly. There's a paint application on the paper clip. The little bits of paper all spilling out the side, all uneven. So that's a nice accessory. I like that. Again, a lot of character, a lot of personality. It is obviously specific to the little story that they're trying to tell with Chuckles as far as the box art goes, but I can see lots of use for that across a range of little kind of displays that you might want to put together, and it fits very nice and neatly inside the briefcase as well. Then we have some handcuffs, 2 sets of these, one where the chain is unbroken, and then a set of handcuffs where the chain has been snapped. So obviously, again, lots of uses for these that you can kind of get into across your whole line. Now, one thing I will say is that I was trying to take a photo the other day with a Crimson Guard, and I was trying to put the Crimson Guard in the handcuffs with his arms out in front of him, and then I had Chuckles with his pistol out kind of escorting him, and it's very difficult to get the arms down straight at front with the handcuffs in front of them, like that. So a bit tricky on that front. However, useful accessories that you can use to tell stories and make interesting photographs, interesting dioramas, interesting displays. So I'm grateful for that. And they're simple enough. It's 2 sort of metallic grey cuffs with a silvery chain in the middle. These ones obviously can be worn on Chuckles himself to indicate he's making an escape from somewhere. So yeah, it just really helps. Great accessories for storytelling. Great for the narrative playtime there. To continue the 80s Miami Vice vibe of Chuckles, we've got a set of sunglasses here. Nice metallic, shiny pink lenses with the black frames and arms on them. They're all right. They're a bit, there's that loose rubbery plastic that they've been using of late. And I don't think the fit is that fantastic on his head. Yeah, they're okay. I just don't like the way they sit over the top of the ears there, look. They could afford to be a little touch longer, and if they were a bit firmer and not quite as sort of warped out, they'd have been fine, but they're all right. They add to the look, and I've definitely taken some photos of him using the sunglasses, so and that problem of course too. Then we have the Walkman set here. This is obviously a nice little Easter egg nod to Soundwave from Transformers. The Walkman's fine. It's a black piece of plastic with a little shiny metallic paint application on there. Obviously adds once again to the kind of 80s retro Miami Vice vibes of Chuckles, especially with these headphones with the orange headphone earpiece cushions on them, which is nice. The Walkman itself has a little peg on the back that fits into a peg hole on his belt there. And just in case anyone's interested, I've found the best fit is to put it kind of lengthways, like that, pointing down. It seems if you try and put it flat like that, it's a bit loose. But if you go in lengthways like that, if you go for the vertical rather than the horizontal, then it's a good, tighter fit. The headphones, though, much like the glasses, are bobbins. They're made out of this really loose, plasticky, rubbery thing, very misshapen out the box, and I just can't get them to fit nicely. I kind of heated them up a little bit over some steam to try and kind of get them back into some semblance of shape, but and I can't get them to look the way I want them to look, and they don't fit tight and flush to his head, and so I found myself not using them a great deal. All that stuff, by the way, fits in the briefcase. I've been storing it all in here. The Walkman, the handcuffs, the sunglasses. I've just been cramming them all in the briefcase. Then we have the little floral necklace, the Hawaiian lei there. This is all right. It looks a bit funny when it's on him round his neck, to be honest. The plastic's too tight and rigid, and it's been sculpted in a way that just doesn't seem to sit sort of draped on him like you would expect a lei like that to do so it's a bit kind of clunky, and it looks more like a kind of Elizabethan court member's collar, in the Queen's Court than it does the Hawaiian lei. It's just a bit kind of rigid and sort of sits on top of his shoulders funny, so yeah, I've not been using that a great deal, but I can appreciate why they've thrown it in, because they're trying to communicate a little bit of that kind of party animal personality character of Chuckles there, so I get it. It's just not been implemented so well. And finally, we've got some swappy pieces. We've got a couple of hand swaps with clenched fists and knuckle dusters on the knuckles. And then we've got the beat up, battered, bruised head there, which is, fine. I like the hand swaps, definitely. Fisty, actiony kind of stuff is always good. They're well sculpted. The paint applications on the knuckle dusters are well applied. And they certainly add to the character, the personality, how the accessories tie into the sort of storytelling that you're trying to tell with the figure, because that Chuckles doesn't play by the rules. You know what I mean? He'll keep a couple of knuckle dusters in his pants pockets and slip them on when things get tough, so I like them. The other head sculpt, though, with the missing tooth and the black eye and the scrapes and the bruises and stuff, yeah, I don't know. The claims that it looked goofy and a bit daft and a bit too cartoony, I feel are, now it's in hand, definitely true. It's definitely got too goofy a vibe to it, and I'm less enamored. I think I'm going to be sticking with the main out of the box head that came on the figure, to be honest. Tell you what, folks, as well, this keeps happening to me when I'm swapping the heads around. I'm just going to pop the battered and bruised head on to show you it on the figure, and that's happened. It's been bloody annoying. Wherever I put my pliers. So here's the thing, folks. The accessory selection is fun. There's some good stuff going on there. I like the Soundwave Easter egg. I think the sunglasses, the manila folder. It's got fun stuff going on. It's interesting. But is it deluxe standard price tag? That's the question. It's the same as with Mindbender, really. Like, convention exclusive in a fancy box with extra accessories that aren't really extra. I mean, I haven't got anything more there or higher value than I got with a Snow Serpent or a Snow Job, you know what I mean? So while I like them, and I'm sort of giving them a bit of a thumbs up because I think there's a lot of storytelling potential with them, I don't know if in good conscience I can recommend it on the accessories front, really. I just don't think the extra price tag equates to that selection of accessories, So yeah, make of that what you will. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts and feelings on that. But I must admit, for the price tag, I'm a little bit disappointed in the accessory selection. It's a thumbs up because I kind of had a bit of fun with them, but I'm trickling back down to about there because the price tag has now tainted my view on that. So there you go. There's the accessories. So quick figure comparison time then, folks, and here is Chuckles with Tunnel Rat. Tunnel Rat's a recent addition to the G.I. Joe Classified shelf here at MoDXtra Games and Collectibles Towers, but I was also doing a little, G.I. Joe the movie, rookie team thing the other day for my own entertainment. Speaking of G.I. Joe the movie fun for my own entertainment, here is Chuckles with Peachhead. I know it's not the right shirt, but I was just having some fun with myself the other day, you know what I mean? It's man-child playtime, isn't it? And here's Chuckle with Zaymar. I like to throw a bad guy into the mix when I do the figure comparisons. That's about as close as I'll get to the storyline that's being told on Chuckles' packaging, because I'm not planning on picking up the Crimson Triple Pack. So there we go. All right then, folks. So here is Chuckles going around on the turntable. Now here's the pose I sort of finished up in yesterday when I'd stopped having a bit of man-child playtime and popped him on the shelf ready for the review today. And I suppose the main thing here is that I am going to recommend Chuckles because I have found him a thoroughly fun and charming figure. However, what I am going to say, my small print and caveat piece, is that he's overpriced for what he is. That's the bottom line. The accessory selection just doesn't take him up to that deluxe price tag that's been attached to the figure, and while some of it's kind of fun and interesting and it's good for the bits box, I'm just not sure it's worth what they've charged me for him. And it's kind of like a 24, 25 quid mainline figure. I'd be extremely happy with him. Yeah, I like the figure. I like the character, I like the personality. I think I'm biased anyway because I enjoyed the character in the IDW continuity and kind of really fell in love with him there and was like, yeah, Chuckles is my guy. But yeah, I think that's the long and the short of it, is if you have the disposable income and it's within your budget to do so, then yeah, go for it. He's a laugh. But if he's not, then I'd possibly say you might want to give him a pass. I don't know. He's certainly not bringing anything super new and innovative to the line at all. But am I happy for the money I spent on him? I'm not so sure I am. But again, I'm open to your thoughts on the subject. So please do head to the comments down below and let me know what you think. All right, well, that brings me to the end once again. And I've managed to let the turntable run so that his back is facing the camera when I get to the end of the video. But this is a good angle because then you get to see the binoculars and the Soundwave Walkman on his belt. But if you have found my thoughts useful today, then please take a moment to hit the like. If you're not already subscribed, then subscribe to the channel. Much love to those who are already subscribed. But if you're not, you're missing out. You're missing out because being a subscriber is like a point of prestige. It gives you bragging rights down the pub. You can say, I'm sub to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. I'm part of that viewing community. And everyone will be just like astounded and think you're amazing. So you should hit the subscribe button. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, I'll be back with more action figure stuff or trading cardy stuff or whatever soon. So I hope you come back soon, and I'm just like really waffling the ending once again. So I'm just going to stop dead right there.